What's up, everybody? It's me, Crosspatch. I am back at the Pittsburgh Steelers practice facility once again, and in today's video, we are going to compare the 3-4 and 4-3 defenses in Madden 21. And this video is part of my Madden for Beginners series. The intention is to help newer players learn about these defensive fronts, understand the strengths and weaknesses of each, as well as the personnel involved, so they can then start to develop their own defensive philosophies and decide which defense is best for them. So if you're new to Madden or if you're still struggling with the game, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss these tutorials when they come out. Every Tuesday is the plan right now. Hopefully I can stick with that schedule. But let's get started. We're going to start by talking about the 3-4 defense. And just real quick, I know that a lot of people are going to know this, but remember this is a video for beginners, so just have a little patience. The reason we call this a 3-4 defense is because we've got 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers, right? 91, 94, 97 are our defensive linemen. 90, 55, 98, 48 are our linebackers. 3-4 defense. And then, of course, the opposite is true when we start talking about the 4-3. There's going to be 4 linemen and 3 linebackers. Just a real simple thing, just to make sure everybody's up to speed. And everybody here has their kind of certain attributes that we're going to look for in a player and certain responsibilities they're going to have. So we'll start with number 94 here. He is going to be listed as a defensive tackle in your depth chart. He is more precisely a nose tackle in a 3-4 defense, or a nose guard. And anywhere between these two, I mean, these guys can line up anywhere on the line here with different shifts, but primarily the nose tackle is going to be playing between the 2 guards here, between number 66 and number 71. You can see he's lined up head up on the center here. He's playing what we call 2-gap technique in this situation. He's responsible for the A-gap on either side of the center. He needs to be a big, strong guy, 300-plus pounds, good strength. In Madden, I would suggest looking for 90-plus strength across the board for all 3 of these guys if you can, all 3 of your defensive linemen. He is the nose tackle, primarily a run stopper in a 3-4 defense. Won't get a lot of sacks, maybe on occasion, but, we're going to be looking at him to control the center of the line here. He's got to be strong. He's going to get double-teamed a lot. And, he's going to be the immovable force in the middle of our line, hopefully. These 2 defensive ends, call them defensive ends in a 3-4. Really, they're more like defensive tackles. Again, 300-pounders, good strength. You want to look for 90-plus strength. Good acceleration, around 70 speed I would look for when you're drafting or looking for these guys. And they are going to, along with the defensive nose tackle, of course, they're going to have to take on these big, strong offensive linemen. We're going to rely on them for run support. We are going to rely on them for pass rush, though they are not going to be our primary pass rushers, but they're going to play that role as well. So big, strong guys, okay speed, decent acceleration. Of course, all of these guys you want is awareness and play recognition as best you can get it. Inside linebackers, as you can kind of see here with our 3 defensive linemen, they're not super protected back here. They're going to have a lot of contact with offensive linemen. And, of course, we want some speed. If ever you're thinking of trading for a linebacker for the different team in this game, Devin Bush is a good one to go for. 90 speed, 90-plus speed, and tough, good hitter. So we want these guys to be the enforcers of our defense. They're going to be making a lot of tackles. They're going to be taking on offensive linemen. They are going to be covering backs out of the backfield. And we want them to be good athletes. We want them to be tough and fast. On the outside, our outside linebackers, these are our edge rushers. We're going to rely on these guys to get pressure on the quarterback. So they need to be, and here's TJ Watt. He is probably the prototypical outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense in today's NFL. Decent speed, tough, relentless, 110 miles an hour every play. That's what you want in an outside linebacker. As far as Madden's concerned, you're going to look for guys with good speed, and you're going to look for There's two different categories: power rushers and speed rushers. So either of those, Watt is a speed rusher. I think Dupree on the other side is power rusher. But it doesn't matter. You can upgrade either of them. And the important thing is you want these fast, tough guys. Of course, they're going to have to play pass coverage now and then. They're going to have to be responsible for this edge out here. But these guys earn their paycheck rushing the quarterback. That's what we need them to do. So, strengths and weaknesses of 3-4 defense. Strengths, I would say flexibility. With these 4 linebackers, you can do a lot of things. You can disguise what you're doing a lot. You can, mix and match your blitzes, send one guy. The Steelers are, in years past, were better at it, but still pretty good at kind of befuddling the opposing quarterback as far as what's coming at him. So that's a big strength of the 3-4 defense. Another one is you've got a lot of speed on the field with these outside linebackers. And, hopefully you got some speedy inside linebackers as well. But, getting around the edge a little tougher with these guys. And maybe the weakness is you really need to have the right guys in these positions, right? So that's something to think about in Madden. Again, if you're drafting players, if you're trading for guys, if you're trying to decide what defense to use, you need these big, strong defensive linemen up front. You need these good pass rushers on the edges, and you need these fast, tough inside linebackers. So if you're missing some of those parts, maybe the 3-4 defense doesn't work out as well as it could. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit too, as far as Madden goes, as we move on here. So let's move on to the 4-3 defense. I was really hoping to have another team in here to demonstrate the 4-3 defense, because the Steelers don't really quite have the right personnel. Let's see what I can do here. Nah, we'll just leave them how they are. We'll just leave it how it is. And we'll run a random play here. Just so we can go into... just so we can go into instant replay. So once again, we've got, 4-3, 4 down linemen, and 3 linebackers. Now, it's a little tough to demonstrate with the Steelers here, but we'll do our best. 2 defensive tackles in a 4-3. Typically not the same player that you're going to have as a nose tackle in a 3-4. Now, that's changed a little bit in recent years. It used to be that you'd have these big, strong, 350-pound-ish guys in some cases as nose tackles in a 3-4. That's changed a little bit to more finesse and technique players as nose tackles. So a little bit more in common with their 4-3 counterparts than they used to have. Alualu could play defensive tackle in a 4-3. Tuitt would be a defensive tackle in a 4-3. Hayward would be a defensive tackle in a 4-3. Buggs, I guess, maybe a little more of a nose tackle, but these guys are playing in gaps a lot of times, the defensive tackles in the 4-3 defense. Sometimes they're playing head up. Mostly they're playing gaps. They are going to be decent pass rushers. They're going to be good run stoppers. Again, you're looking for big, strong guys with decent speed. The same kind of guys you'd be looking for as a defensive end in a 3-4. You're going to be looking for as defensive tackles in a 4-3. So that means someone like Cam Hayward is not a good defensive end in a 4-3 defense. So who is? Well, are the same kind of guys we were looking for as outside linebackers in a 3-4 are going to be the prototypes kind of guys we want in a defensive end in a 4-3. So could TJ Watt play outside linebacker in a 4-3 defense? I mean, he's a good athlete. Certainly he could if we wanted him to. But again, he is an outstanding pass rusher, one of the best in the NFL. we would want him at defensive end in a 4-3 defense. So your outside your edge rushers in a 4-3 are these defensive ends. Again, Tuitt wouldn't be one of them. He'd be playing inside, and we would have someone like T.J. Watt playing in this position. So, again, if you are drafting, if you are looking for guys, those are the kinds of guys you want as your defensive ends. They're going to be smaller than a 3-4 defensive end, and so that's important too to look at when you're looking at rosters, when you're looking at draft picks. You're going to see two different kinds of defensive ends. You're going to see the 300, 285, 290, 300 pounders that are appropriate for a 3-4 defense, and you're going to see the smaller 250, 260, 270 pounders with a lot of speed who are defensive ends more appropriate for a 4-3 defense. So that's something to think about, something to be aware of. And you can move guys around. Like if you want to transition, if we wanted to transition the Steelers from a 3-4 team to a 4-3 team, we'd be moving Dupree and Watt to defensive end. We'd be moving Hayward and Tuitt to defensive tackle. I mean, you could do it if you have the right guys again. And so our middle linebacker, in a 4-3 defense, you can see he's protected quite a bit better than our inside linebackers were in a 3-4. So again, we want somebody fast. We want somebody tough. He's going to have to occasionally take on offensive linemen. Hopefully our defensive line can keep them off of him. But he's got to be rangy. And the best linebackers, middle linebackers in 4-3 defenses in NFL history, we're good at going sideline to sideline like this, right? So you think of Ray Lewis, Jack Lambert, Dick Butkus, guys like that. It was hard to get outside of them. They not a lot of guys faster sideline to sideline than those guys. So that's what we want in a middle linebacker. He's going to be a primary tackler on your defense. And your outside linebackers, again, could Bud Dupree play outside linebacker in a 4-3 defense? Probably. He's a good athlete. But is he the guy we really want there? We're going to want somebody a little more similar to Devin Bush. We're going to want somebody who's rangy, decent speed, can rush the quarterback when we want him to, can cover backs out of the backfield, can play good zone defense. Outside linebackers in a 4-3 defense are asked to do a lot of things. And rushing the quarterback is only one occasional thing they do. So those are the guys we're looking for. Strengths and weaknesses in a 4-3. The strength, I would say, strong against the run. We've got 4 down linemen. We've got a linebacker who's protected to a certain degree from offensive linemen. And we've got two outside linebackers who, again, have a certain amount of protection from the offensive line. And these guys are going to be able to make a lot of tackles because of it. So good against the run. Also against the pass. And we'll talk about what happens typically against the pass more often than anything in a minute. But, if it is a passing situation and we do have our 4-3 defense on the field, if we can get pass rush with these 4 guys, that is a big thing. That is like nightmare scenario for opposing quarterbacks. Because that frees up 3 linebackers to do whatever the heck they want to do. Drop back in zone coverage, maybe blitz one of them, maybe man them up on backside of the backfield. A 4-man pass rush from just the defensive line, that's a big thing if we can get it out of a 4-3. And as far as weaknesses, I would just say the simplicity of it. You can disguise a lot of things with a 3-4 defense. You can move guys around. There's a lot of trickeration in there. 4-3 is just very straightforward. I mean, you will see some different stunts and different, fronts and things like that. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. The opposing offense knows what they're looking at. So again, that doesn't make it bad. That doesn't mean it's not effective. There's a lot of teams in the NFL that use it very effectively. That's just something to think about. And so here's the most important question as it pertains to Madden. Can you take a 3-4 team and run a 4-3 defense with them, or vice versa? And there's two answers to that, okay? The one is from a real world perspective. NFL's teams build their defenses one way or the other. So if the team is built to be a 4-3 team, you may not have the pieces in place to effectively run a 3-4. And vice versa. Or, like I said before, you're going to have to move guys around. You're going to have to move Cam Hayward to defensive tackle. You're going to have to move TJ Watt to defensive end. That's sort of the sim side of things. You know, if you're trying to play the game as realistically as possible, that's the sim side of it. On the other hand, and some sim purists don't like hearing this, it's a video game. Do whatever you want to do. If I take the Pittsburgh Steelers and I switch to a 4-3 playbook, they're not going to disintegrate. Like, the guys aren't going to fall apart on the field and not know what they're doing. They're going to play okay. It may not be ideal for their attributes. I may need to bring some different guys in when I start drafting, but it's fine. I mean, I like to use multiple defense. It has the 4-3, it has the 3-4, it has the 3-3-5, and a bunch of different things. And these guys play just fine. You know, it's a video game. Play the game how it's fun to you. If you want to experiment with different things, no reason you can't. Your players aren't going to collapse on the field. The game isn't going to explode. It'll be fine. So that's about it for this video. And the last thing I want to mention that'll kind of lead into our next video that will hopefully come out next Tuesday. With the increasing popularity of the passing game and multiple wide receiver offenses, both of these fronts, I mean, they'll always have a place in football, I would assume. I mean, who knows what could happen. But they are becoming less and less important, I suppose. They're used fewer and fewer times in a game. There are a lot more situations where there are nickel defenses on the field, dime defenses. So while these are important, the next video is going to be important too, and that's going to talk about nickel defenses, dime defenses, and you're going to be using those a lot against these 3 and 4 wide receiver sets that a lot of teams are using. But that is a video for another time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Again, very basic stuff, aimed at beginners. If you are one of those beginners, I hope that you found some use for it. If you did, please hit that like button. Maybe subscribe to the channel. Whatever you decide to do, I hope you have a great day. And I will see you next practice.